To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejados de las
This here's
puertas.
a wildest ride in the
When industry doors change.
So today on Miles from Main Street, we are talking Disneyland. We are primarily a Disney World podcast, but we are going to Disneyland and we're super excited about it.
Yes, I am so excited to go. You know, Christmas may have been a little shorter or gone by quicker for me because I was kind of looking past it. That's how excited I am. First trip out, and I'm sure you know that I'm a historian a little bit. I don't want to call myself a historian, but
You're a professional
No.
historian, yes.
I'm very interested in the history, and I'm so excited to walk into that park. So I can't wait to visit all the things and tell my family all the stuff. And we were watching a video this morning, and they were talking about the telegraph at one of the train stations, and they're tapping out on the telegraph the dedication speech that Walt did. And she goes, "Oh, that's cool." I go, "Yeah, it is." And she goes, "You knew that already, didn't you?" It's like, yeah, and I'm probably going to like drive him crazy with, "This is a gift from Lillian, and this was a gift from Walt, and this is." So yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait to get there.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. And I know that, I mean, I've been there. I was there for like an afternoon. So like I've been there, but I've never like really like had a trip there. So that's what I'm mostly excited about, is like actually like attacking the parks the way that I want to, and not just like having some time and doing Disneyland that way. But I did want to talk about, before we get into that, New Year's Eve. I've been getting into. I know, Brian, you're already into this, and I don't know if this is what you did during New Year's Eve. But my New Year's Eve, I was at home because I'm lame, and I was by myself because I'm lame. And I ended up going on to a bunch of lives and watching people in the parks and at Epcot and everything. And I just wanted to give a shout out to the group who set up the lighting at all of the different countries, because that was so cool. They basically had a DJ, like a full DJ with a stage and a full lighting rig at every single country, and I didn't even know that they did that. But I know that when I inevitably move to Florida, that's what I want to do, is hang out at Epcot for New Year's, because it looked awesome. So shout out to all of the people who did that and put those rigs together, because it looked like a lot of fun, and I hope someday, maybe somehow, I get to play around with one of those rigs in the future, because that would be really cool.
I think it's interesting that like all the parks, well, at least like Magic Kingdom and Epcot, just become a great big dance hall. You know, like DJ parties everywhere. Before we get too much further into this, please make sure you go and share this with a friend and let them know how much you're enjoying it. And hit that subscribe button so you get notifications and come back and hear us again.
Definitely like and subscribe, and leave us a rating. We want those stars. 5-star rating, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Is that how that
and
works?
A review is even better if you leave one.
Oh, yeah.
So there's your laundry list of things to do. I try to keep it to one, but hit the subscribe, rating, and review, and share it. Most importantly, just share it with somebody.
It could be your New Year's resolution, is to listen to Miles from Main Street more.
Or just share it with somebody.
Yeah. Anyways, Disneyland. So, I am really excited for Disneyland for a couple different reasons. And of course, the first thing I'm going to talk about is eating and food. We have made our dining reservations, and I think we've already kind of like, I think we've talked through this already at one point, where like where we're going. So I'm not going to get like super specific. But I'm just like really excited for all of the food that is at Disneyland. I hear from different people that Disneyland has better food than Disney World. I hear that the churros are better. I hear that even like just like the normal hamburgers are better. I hear that from a lot of different people. So I'm excited to get out there and enjoy the food, mainly because, um, I mean, I've had some amazing dinners and dining experiences at Disney World. So just hearing that Disneyland food is like almost like a next level or like maybe like slightly better, um, has me excited about that. And I'm always excited about dining and food anytime I go to a Disney park, anyways. And so we're not really deviating from our typical plan when we go to a park for something like this. So yeah, that's probably that's not like the main thing I'm excited about, but one of the big things that I'm excited about for Disneyland, I will throw out Blue Bayou. It sounds like possibly we're going there twice, just because we want to get the Monte Cristo. Um, so yeah, I'm super excited for the food and the things that we're going to be able to do there with dining.
Yeah, I'm excited to eat at Blue Bayou that first day with you guys, and it'll be fun to try it out. That's just one that I've been interested in for a very long time, and so I was really happy we were able to get a reservation. So with the food, like, yeah, I've been watching videos. We have a list of things we want to try. As we were planning with Hugh and Mikhailo, we were going back and forth with Kristen about where to get reservations and how we were going to attack these different things. And my family, like, I can't afford to go sit down everywhere and pay those prices at so many times. So we've got Blue Bayou and we've got a breakfast at Plaza Inn. And that's all we're doing as far as sit downs. But that's partly because there's so many things we want to try that are just quick service. The Lunar New Year celebration is going to be going on, and they do that like an Epcot festival. So there's going to be a lot of food booths to eat at there. Bengal barbecue is something that we got to try. We were just watching a video on that and talking about food being better there than at Disney World. We were watching Mammoth Club, and Molly just looks at the camera and is like, "This is when I get mad at Disney World. Like, how is it that they can have this good of food here, but we can't have this at Disney World?" And, like, we can talk about some of those answers if you want. I think Disneyland is ran a lot differently than Disney World because they don't have the crowd to contend with that they have at Disney World. And so I think that there's a lot that goes into that. I've never had a churro at Disney World, but I am dying to have one at Disneyland. So I think that'll be really exciting to try a churro, try Bengal barbecue, get the beignets. We have a list made up, so we're excited about it too. We're just attacking it differently.
Yeah, and that's something that we get in trouble with a lot is I understand Brian has a family and I just have a fiance, so it's 2 on 5.
Yeah.
So it's easier for us to sit down more, but we also want to have those quick service meals. So this happened on our last trip. We went too hard, we ate too much. That was kind of what happened in our trip. But we have huge FOMO. And we don't know when we're going to be coming back to land. Like, World is definitely like our park. Like, we when we can, we want to go to World. And so it's hard for us having that FOMO and not knowing when we're going to come back. So we end up booking all of these like awesome restaurants, but then at the same time, we do want to have all this awesome quick service food because we hear so much about it. So you can get in trouble a little bit. So like understand that you do need to, like, you can't just eat everything all the time, and you can't be going 100% all the time because you'll be full and tired.
And we have a big list of things we want to do as well that are attraction based. So, the top of the list is Haunted Mansion, but wah wah.
Wah, wah, wah. This one makes me
It's
really sad.
closed. They have to get Haunted Mansion Holiday out of there. Jack is done reaping his, I don't know what you want to call it. Jack is done haunting the halls.
His so?
Jack is done
Yeah.
haunting the halls, and so we have to miss out on Haunted Mansion for that. So it's unfortunate. I keep hoping that some cast member's gonna see me crying in front of it and say, come on, I'll show you." But I know that's not gonna happen. It's just stupid dreaming.
We can be just like the little kids that would walk up to Haunted Mansion for like 16 years and see a sign that says wrangling up 999 ghosts, and they would just look at Haunted Mansion and wish that it would open.
There you
we can
go.
do that.
So anyway, I think at the top of my list right now is Pirates.
Mm.
You know, I can't wait to see the original, and I can't wait to see how it's different and know that a lot of the things that we do in that building is because of geography, not just because that's how it was done.
Mhm.
So I think that'll be a lot of fun to do, and I hope the line isn't long.
Yes.
But yeah, that one, and then like the nighttime shows, I'm excited for that because the Disney 100th celebration is going to be going on. It kicks off the weekend before we get there, and I can't wait. We get to see a new show over the castle. We get to see a new version of World of Color. We get to see Phantasmic, which is different from it's slightly different, I guess, from what we have at Hollywood Studios. And I'm just starting to ramble about everything I'm excited about because I'm excited.
Yeah, this is what we want. We want ramblings. And I know when it comes to rides, honestly, I think I'm most excited about Radiator Springs Racers. I've always been a Cars fan. Like I actually enjoy those movies. I know it gets a little bit of hate for being like a kind of shallow movie for like what Pixar usually does. But I like it. And I've always liked it. So I think Radiator Springs Racers is what I'm most excited for, especially because I've started to kind of be like, with Test Track. Like, I liked it when I was a kid, when it was like new and fresh and fun. But now it's kind of grown a little stale. I feel like it needs either to be bulldozed or like rethemed again. But that's kind of like what Radiator Springs Racers is like a better Test Track. So yeah, I want to go and experience that and get on that ride. That's what I'm super excited about. But yeah, with the 100th celebration, like I've said before, Kristen likes to buy stuff. She's already bought 100th ears and sweaters and stuff like that. I wasn't like too into a lot of what they had going on for the 100th. I was really into a lot of the 50th stuff. And I feel like they haven't really come out with everything that they're going to come out with. So I'm excited to see like what other types of merchandise that they have for the 100th anniversary. Because I know there's going to be a good amount because they're probably going to be treating it the same way as the 50th, where they have this huge push for merchandise and there's 100th stuff everywhere, and they come out with it periodically. So I'm excited to see that stuff, and I'm also excited for us to be getting there early enough that like possibly we'll be able to like get some of the stuff as it like first comes out. But who knows? Some of those resellers may get to it before us.
Well, so as you were saying, like the merchandise is already dropped on Shop Disney, and there's a lot of it out there, and so I'm hoping that a lot of that stuff is there when we get there, and if they do happen to drop more on that first weekend when they first start the celebration, like I'm worried that it's going to be sold out by the time we get there because we're coming a week later, and that's kind of been what's happening. So hopefully those distribution chains will be better, and they've kind of worked around a lot of that so that we don't have stuff missing when we get there. We can get what we want. Which I've already picked up my picture frame I need to get, and I've, like the hat I think I might have found. I don't know. But anyway, I'm so excited to do that. I'm excited to meet Mickey in the new outfit and whoever else might be having the new outfits on. I think they're all gonna, like, all the Fab Five will. So, I think the Disney 100 stuff is gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I enjoyed the 50th a lot. Maybe just because it was Disney World, but I enjoyed that a lot. Even when it came down to like merchandise and stuff like that, I feel like they did a pretty good job of coming out with things for the 50th that were pretty cool. And I think they'll be able to do that with Land too. So another thing that I'm super excited about is actually going to DCA. And if you know anything about Disney California Adventure, it had kind of a tumultuous beginning to itself. It's completely different now. But but one of the things I really want to do, just to say like, oh, I've ridden this, even though it's not what it used to be, is the Monsters Inc. ride at California Adventure, because it used to be Superstar Limo. I've heard so much about how terrible Superstar Limo was. And even though, and actually, I think the Monsters Inc. ride looks pretty cool. I've always thought that it would be cool to like have like a ride that's like the door, and like it could be like a roller coaster that's like mounted to the top, and it could be like a door, and you could like go into a room with a whole bunch of other doors, and they kind of do that at one point. So I'm excited for that. But yeah, just kind of like the history of this was one of the worst rides in Disney history, and it's still kind of there. I'm excited about that, and that kind of like brings us over to like the history portion of it all. And I know when I first went to Disneyland, I felt a lot of that. I stood in the fire station, just like, wow, Walt's apartment is like right above me, and just kind of like stood there for a little bit and like took in the history for everything. It was a lot of fun, and definitely got the feels a little bit, because that's like where it all started. Like this was the first real like theme park, and what I think is crazy about that is that it still holds up today. Now, like a lot of stuff has changed, but like the groundwork that was laid is still there, and like it still holds up. Like it's very cool to see, and it's very cool to see that like all of this stuff was made like back in the 50s for the most part. So it's pretty cool, and the history is definitely a big part of it, and you can feel it while you're there.
Yeah, and I alluded to that earlier, that I'm super excited to do that too. I said this when we had CJ from Park to Park podcast on the show. I I don't know how I'll react when I walk in there for the first time.
Oh, you're gonna cry. I'm gonna make you cry, because I'm even crying.
We'll see. I kind of thought I would do that when I saw the Millennium Falcon for the first time, and I didn't. I just kind of was like, this is really awesome. This is really cool. Getting into the history of that office, and the fire station, they do a tour. It's a 90-minute tour, and I've been on the fence on it ever since I learned that it would be available. I don't know. You get to go into his apartment at the end of the tour, and out onto the balcony they have up there, so you can kind of be like actually him looking out at the crowd and people coming into the park as he did, right? And there's some logistics around why I'm not doing it yet, or still on the fence about it, but I really would like to do that. So that, I think that more so may even hit me harder if I were to get into his apartment up there. So but then there's just riding the Matterhorn. and fixing all my back issues while riding it. Uh, I've heard it's a pretty bumpy ride, but there's so much history there, being the first real tubular roller coaster, right? And
Tubular.
seeing the original Small World, how it was originally presented, getting to go on the train and seeing the dinosaurs from the Ford exhibit at the World's Fair, like all of these things. Here I am going on again about this. These are the things I'm going to be pointing out to my family as they're rolling their eyes into the back of their head numerous times. um, but yeah, the history part of it is going to be a lot of fun for me. And, I went on about that already. I won't get too much more into it, but there's so many things. There's park benches from Griffith Park. There's the little trains that he had at Carrollwood, his Carrollwood home. It's just so many things that I can point at and be like, this is that thing and this is that thing. And, like the gift I was talking about, there's a petrified tree stump over by Pirates of the Caribbean that was a gift that he gave Lillian, or maybe it was Lillian gave him. I have to go look that up again. Like, why is that there? Like, but another one that I want to find is that they have an original tree that was part of the orange grove when they first bought the land, and it was part of the deal is that they had to keep a tree there, and that's over by Indiana Jones. So I got to see that, like, and the little man that lives in Disneyland, I got to go check out his house.
Yes.
Like all these little things that you want to do, and hopefully I have enough time because I'm going to be in the parks for 4 days instead of just running through a park in a day like we do at Disney World. And I feel the need to put this out there because
Oh boy,
so
here we
here's
go.
a tangent. You were mentioning a door ride for Monsters Inc., right? And that they kind of do that a little bit in the Superstar Limo ride. But they actually did have a concept put together of a door ride that they were going to put in Hollywood Studios, and it fell apart because you can kind of look at the park and understand why already. That's a thrill ride. That would absolutely be a thrill ride. And if you look at the park, that's all they have is thrill rides. And heavy hitters on all of them, right? Like, there's not many. If you look at Magic Kingdom, they've got 3 spinner rides like Dumbo. They've got one thing kind of like that at Hollywood Studios, and that's Alien Swirling Saucers. Otherwise, everything else is pretty much heavy hitters except for a couple of shows. So you can't put another one in there like that. And that's why we don't have it yet. Like, they have the concept. They have it put together. They don't have a place to put it. I think tearing out what they have for Monsters Inc. and putting just a total door ride in at DCA would be awesome. But, there's other priorities at this point, I think. Like Pacific Wharf.
And that's and that's something that I've noticed about DCA was when you actually step back and look at it, there's a lot of decent rides there. And I've heard from different people who were like, "Oh, there's not a lot of rides at DCA." And like maybe when it first came out, like there weren't a lot of rides, but like there's some big ones there. Like Radiator Springs Racers and Web Slingers, which like I'm not too excited to ride, but like looks like it would probably be pretty fun. Tower of Terror, which is not Tower of Terror anymore. It's Mission Breakout, which I'm super excited to go on to. Soarin', Soarin' is pretty far down the list, but like that's the original Soarin'.
It's not Soarin' over California. They only do it during Food and Wine now.
Yes, yep. Mm-hmm. Which I was sad about. I thought it was just always Soarin' over California there.
They
so,
should make it
whatever.
that way. I mean, Why do we need another copy? But I
Yeah.
digress.
But yeah. But I mean, it was like California Screamin'. That's another huge ride I want to ride.
Now known as Incredicoaster. Come on, you gotta get your names right. Come
Incredicoaster.
on.
Well, I knew that. I've always known it as California Screamin'. But yeah, like there's a lot to hit there.
Oh yeah.
And it's kind of the same at Magic Kingdom too, where it's just like there's a lot shoved into that park. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting how like we tackle everything, because again, you have 4 days. I technically have 3.5. I'm actually one thing that I am excited about too. I'll just throw this in there, is hanging out with my sister, because my sister's gonna be coming for like at least 2.5 days with me. She's actually letting me into the parks on our travel day. So we're going to be able to have a morning at Magic Kingdom and like do some stuff, and then she's going to drive us to the airport. So that's going to be really cool. But yeah, just it's going to be interesting to see how we do this, because Kristen and I do want to attack this park not our usual way, since we are new to this park and we don't know exactly where we're going with a lot of stuff and like what we're doing. So we want to take it a little slower, but at the same time, again, like we don't know when we're going to be back and how we're going to fit a lot of this stuff in. So it's interesting to kind of see like how we're going to attack it.
But at the same time, anyone will tell you that 2 days is plenty, or 3 will really get you everything you need. So like I know 4 days, like I'm planning on it at some point being like, let's just go back to the room and veg out. Let's go sit at the pool for a little while. That's why I bought the 4-day ticket, because I just wanted full coverage and be able to just do what we want to do, right? Like from what I understand, rope drop to lunchtime is kind of golden hour, right? Like that's the time to hit the rides. And then in the afternoon, when everyone's standing in line, you go do shows. And then, like maybe we go back to our room and hit the pool for a little bit. It's going to be nice to be able to have those options. Being that there's only the 2 parks. And we're doing hoppers too. So if we get tired of one thing, we don't like what the lines are looking like, we can go to the other park and try it out over there. And that's something that I think is going to be really cool, is that it's a 30-second walk between the 2 parks, which is something we're not used to at Disney World, right? Like Disney World, if you're going to take a bus to another park, plan an hour. You want to go on the monorail between Epcot and Magic Kingdom, it's going to take a little while, right? So it's going to be pretty cool that we can just walk out of one park and right into the other and do what we want to do. So I'm looking forward to all of that. I think one of the things that Tammy, my cohort on Brian and Tammy's Thoughtful Spot, shameless plug, go find us on our own feed there. Anyway, she's super excited for this, as am I. But the Sweethearts Night, Disneyland After Dark, and I know you guys are super excited for it too. So I can't wait to do that. There's so many things in there that are special for that night that's going to be so much fun. We've talked about it on the other show. The Lady and the Tramp photo op is, I think, number 1 on her list. But we're also looking at character meet and greets that, Bianca and Bernard from Rescuers. Like, come on, that's nuts, right?
That's awesome.
You're not going to see that in Disney World. So, and there's going to be the like the ball in front of Small World. They're going to have the prince and princess come out and dance, and they'll cut in with you. So I might get to dance with Jasmine. She might get to dance with Eric, or maybe she wants to dance with Cinderella. You never know. But I think that's really cool that you'll be able to do things like that.
Yeah, looking at a lot of what they've done in the past with Sweethearts Night, it looks really cool. I love the fact that they project hearts all down Main
Right?
Street. I think that's really cool. So just like those special things there, it doesn't seem like, I mean, there's a good amount of things happening, but it doesn't seem like one of like a Halloween event or something like that. But it's just something nice to like be able to go into the parks and have it be like about sweethearts and like bringing your sweetheart and doing all these things. I'm also interested to see what capacity is going to be like, because this is a specially ticketed event, and it's supposed to be kind of like one of those um, like after hours
Right.
events. So hopefully it has the same kind of feel as one of those. Now we've kind of learned our lesson about like doing the event and not really like focusing on like doing rides, like short lines. That's kind of like the cherry on top, at least for like what I've learned. Like if all of a sudden you see that like it's a 15-minute wait for a ride that you really want to go on, like go for it. But like don't expect to like be able to like hit a bunch of rides. Like you really got to focus on like what the event is for. So I think with that knowledge that we're going in with, we're definitely going to do that a lot more than like hopefully there's going to be like short lines for stuff. So
I went to look at tickets just now, and it's telling me that the entire Sweethearts Night event has been sold out. Yeah.
oh wow.
So I'm hoping that's a good thing. That means that they didn't sell a whole lot, and therefore we have that exclusivity of the event, which is what part of what you're paying for, is to have low crowds. And watching some of those videos from 2019 or 2020, actually they got this event in 2020. Looking at some of those videos, it looked pretty busy at some of those spots. So it'll be nice if it's not too crazy and we are able to get through some of those lines. But looking at it, it looks like you need to prioritize what you want to do. There's going to be special foods that we're going to want to check out. There's going to be, like we said, those meet and greets and those photo ops. And I think, finding a ride, that's going to be at the bottom of the list for us. If we are at a spot that we see a low wait on a ride and we're not really, kind of waiting for something else, then we'll probably do that. But otherwise, it's all going to be like total special event item type focus. We're going to do as much as we can that is special for that night.
For sure. Yeah. That's going to be a lot of fun. So something else that I'm pretty excited about. And you mentioned this earlier, and it made me think about this. Brian said that he hopes that the kids get to go swim in the pool. I'm actually hoping that it's a little chillier. Just kind of like looking at what California temps usually are in February. I'm looking forward to possibly being able to like be in a Spirit jersey the whole day and not sweat my what off. I'm actually and now kind of thinking about it, Spirit jerseys, I'm pretty sure were like really intended for California, because when you think about it, like Spirit jerseys make absolutely no sense for selling in World. But that's usually where I buy them anyways. There are definitely opportunities for Spirit jerseys at World. It does get cold sometimes. We know that, Kristen and I. But I'm excited for that like different type of weather. Being at a Disney park where it's going to be a little chillier than normal. I think when I looked it up, it was like during the day it's the 70s, and then at night it can get down to like the 50s and the 40s. So that's interesting. And so I'm excited to be able to wear my Spirit jerseys and like maybe wear a sweater or something like that. I think that'll be
cool.
Cool.
Looking at historically what it's been, while we'll be there. The weather is like mid to upper 60s, and then at night it's going to be in the 50s. So we're looking at sweatshirts. We're looking at, I was looking at long sleeves to put on under some of the t-shirts I have. I'm going to have to consider jackets, which I've never thought about having a jacket at a Disney park. So we're definitely going to want that. And for those of you that haven't been to Disneyland, they have lockers at the front of the park, and I fully intend on using it every day. It's $7 a day for the large locker. I mean, that's nothing in Disney money terms anyway, right? So, I fully intend on using that, storing things in there that we don't need to be carrying all day. When I get my lightsaber, because I have a reservation to build a lightsaber, I can stow it away in that locker and go about the rest of my day without having to leave. That's totally going to be, a lot of the thought process that week before, like what's going to keep me warm at night, because it's going to be cool. So, but coming from a January in Wisconsin, I fully expect us to have bitter cold, negative, below zero days yet, and have pretty thick blood by the time we get there. So any of that weather is going to be nice and comfortable.
It's just funny though that I've been to California twice. Once was in December, January, and it was like legit cold when we went, and I packed as if I was going to Florida. I packed shorts and t-shirts, and I had to buy a hoodie, and I lived in that hoodie every single day because it was so cold. And you think of California, and you see California in all these movies, and the weather is immaculate and it's super warm out and everything. California has, for the most part, like seasonal weather, not as seasonal as we have here in Wisconsin, where it snows and you actually have like a fall and stuff like that. But the weather dips, like the weather ebbs and flows, whereas in Florida, like it's pretty consistently just like hot all the time.
Yeah, I it's interesting having to think about that. I have a couple of things I'm going to take with me to stay warm. Hopefully that's all I'll need, but I really don't want to have to take a coat in. I guess we'll find that out. Because I'll be traveling with one anyway.
Well,
but
exactly. That's what we did that one time that we went to Disney World that it got super cold there, was we just like wore what we wore to the airport. So, but I know that I'm probably going to invest in a Miles hoodie, and maybe I'll make some of my own merch for Magical Life, the vlog that I have.
You should do that.
So yeah, I'll wear the Miles hoodie when we record in the parks, and then I'll wear Magical Life when we're not recording in the parks.
I did pick up a T-shirt of the stuff that we have for Miles from Main Street. If you guys are interested in that, go to the website www.milesfrommainsT.com and click on store. We have some merchandise out there. I created a pair of leggings, ladies, that you may really enjoy. And my wife got the sweatshirt, and it's really, really nice. She loves it. The hoodie that's a full zip hoodie. She really likes it. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go and get some more more merch.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So I have not done anything for Thoughtful Spot, but you should definitely do that for Magical Life.
Yeah.
So help us out by going out to Instagram or Facebook and liking us there. We are also on TikTok. I've got all the links in the show notes for you to easily find it. Let us know if you have any questions, want to talk about any certain topic. Send us an email. Yeah, I'll leave it at that.
I'm leaving that in.
Of course you are.
But yeah, it was a fun topic. I know I've been wanting to talk to you about this for a while now, and I know since now that we're sub 30 days, Brian and I are probably going to be texting back and forth about all the things that we're going to be doing. We still have to, maybe this can be its own episode. We need to coordinate our outfits for the parks, Brian.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Next week, we'll talk all about what Brian and I are going to wear at Disneyland. But yeah, this was a fun one. But like we always say, some live close,
But others don't.
so let's talk about it. We'll see you next time on Miles from Main Street.